Hi and welcome to This Is Your Life. Well, our guest of honour has been one of Australia's most unique and unusual entertainers for over 40 years. Because although she goes for all the gowns and glitz of showbiz, she was born a boy. And it all started for her right here in Sydney's King's Cross. And right now she's just up the road at the famous El Alamein fountain, where she's having some photos taken for a magazine feature. And that's where we're going to surprise her. So, let's do it.
Action!
It's quite a pose, Carlotta.
This is a setup.
This is all the setup. Carlotta, this is your life. You're appearing somewhere tonight, aren't you?
Yes, at a corporate show, I was told.
Is that right? Okay. This is your life. No corporate show. Thanks for being a good sport.
Thank you.
You're going to enjoy the show and catch up with a lot of old friends. Yeah.
Oh, where'd you find them? In the
In the where?
In the archives.
Ladies and gentlemen, Carlotta. Please, take a seat. Carlotta, you're born Richard Lawrence Byron on the 2nd of September 1943 in Sydney. Your mother, Evelyn, is an escort for the American Red Cross, and because of her open and easy lifestyle, the identity of your father still remains a mystery. To your mum, you're an unwelcome arrival. And when you're 4 months old, it's a blessing, in one way, when she leaves you in the care of Hazel Roberts, who raises you. You and Hazel are so close that she is the one you call Mum. And here's Hazel now, along with her daughter, your surrogate sister, Jacqueline. Can I just say, Hazel, it was very good of you to take then Richard into your house, wasn't it?
Oh, I loved him, so why shouldn't I take him into the house?
Just a lot of kids
She used to
together.
give me the best wax.
Oh, is that right?
Chase me around because we had chooks, and she'd chase me around with the chooks and the strap because I was a bit of a naughty boy in those days, wasn't I?
Oh.
But I love this woman to death. And Jacqueline. She was like my sister.
Well, Jacqueline, you accepted Richard
Yes.
As a brother, didn't you?
Oh, definitely, yes. It was a bit of a mixed-up family anyway. And so, wasn't it?
What do you accept me as now? Still
Well,
Richard.
it takes a while, but probably a sister.
Spoiled?
Oh, spoiled, yes. Never had to do anything. Ever.
Never had to do anything.
No, being the baby.
I used to feed the chooks.
Ah, yeah, but so what? Who used to kill them?
That's where
Not
I think.
you.
That's where I think I started, because I started playing with the feathers.
She wishes.
So it's your fault.
Thank you. Thanks, Jacqueline.
Okay.
Thanks very much, Hazel.
See you after.
When you're 11, your world turns upside down because now your biological mother suddenly tears you away from Hazel to take you back with her new husband, both of them virtual strangers to you. This upheaval then turns into a nightmare when you begin to suffer years of terrible physical abuse at the hands of your stepfather because he saw you as being different.
It's just I didn't get on with him at all. I think that he was jealous of me being part of my mum's life.
Well, at 15, you leave school and start working in the art department at David Jones. And at last, using your artistic yearnings, you happily paint makeup on the mannequins and do all the arranging for the display cabinets. You love your work, but the beatings at home are now so brutal you run away when you're 16. Later that year, you're promoted to window displays, where you meet gay people for the first time. It's 1960, you're 17 when you start taking female hormones and adopt the nickname Carol. You're now leading a double life, man by day, woman by night. And during one police raid on a well-known cross-dressing haunt, you're arrested and charged with offensive behaviour. You defend yourself and beat the rap. Tell us how.
I said, what's the charge? And the judge said, offensive behaviour. And I said, what for? He said, you're in woman's attire. I said, well, you've got a wig and a robe on. Case dismissed.
Well, the next year you leave DJs and move to Mark IV's, where you meet window dresser Christopher Essex, who becomes a lifelong friend. Well, Christopher joins us now, along with your best friend from those days, Joy Mahoney.
Oh, baby.
I was in his house yesterday, getting a fitting for a dress.
We didn't blow it.
And this is like Jacqueline, this is like another sister to me. We've been so close for years.
40 odd.
40, well, you didn't have to say that.
Odd. 40 odd.
Because if I could start with you, Carlotta opened a whole new world up.
Sure,
to you,
sure.
didn't she?
One of my favourites was a Christmas at Mark IV's 1960, 61, I'm not too sure. I gave Carol a tie and a pair of socks. And I thought, big mistake.
He didn't know. He knows now. He's been making frocks for years for me.
And of course, you guys have known each other, what, since 17?
Oh, yes.
Yes, we were 17, and
Yes.
I'd come down from the bush in Queensland, so I really didn't know anything about the city, much less boys dressed as girls and girls dressed as boys. And then all of a sudden I was in the middle, right
And I was
in the
in
middle.
awe of Joy because I always thought she looked like Ursula Andress, which I idolised in those days. I thought, you bitch, you look like Ursula Andress.
And of course, wanted to be godmother.
Oh, yes.
Yes, fairy godmother.
Yes. Yes.
Christopher, thanks very much.
Thank you, darling. Thank you, mate.
Love you, honey.
In the early 60s, the dance craze, the twist, takes the world by storm, and you are a natural. Now, as a boy and a girl, you can do both. In fact, you are so good, you win both categories in a twisting competition at a Chubby Checker stage show. True?
Yes, I won both, but Chubby Checker's never spoken to me since.
What was his reaction?
Well, because he came up and I was back as dressed as a boy and he said, where's that beautiful sister? And I said, it's me.
And he said what?
He never spoke to me since. Well, it's true.
Please join us after the break as Carlotta becomes the undisputed Queen of King's Cross.
What a great night for you and a well-deserved honour. You are a wonderful talent, an extreme beauty, and I'm really very envious of you. And I want to ask you a favour. Do you think you and I could do a musical? I'm ever so sorry, but I'd have to play the leading man. Chookers, love you. Bye-bye.
Welcome back as we celebrate the life of entertainer Carlotta. Carlotta, you're 18 in 1962 when entrepreneur Lee Gordon invites you to perform in drag at a King's Cross club. You're petrified of the crowd, but after the first song, you're hooked and realise you are destined for the stage. But you need a more exotic name, and that becomes Carlotta in honour of a Mexican princess. The shows are so successful, the troupe moves to a club dedicated purely to drag shows. It's called Les Girls, and you are its star. two of your co-stars at Les Girls. Two of your co-stars are Karen Chant and Monique Kelly, who join us now.
How about this, girl?
I can't believe they keep secrets.
Thank you, girls, for doing so. Karen, let me ask you, is it true that most of the patrons at Les Girls had no idea that, of course, all these beautiful women were in fact men?
Well, Mike, when we started in the 60s, I mean, people used to come to the club to look at these freaks, you know, men dressed as women. What is it all about? So after we'd done the show, we'd walk around the audience and people would say, oh, how about all these beautiful girls? How do they have these leotards cut up here, not a thing down here, and all this up here? I said, well, darling, when you've been in the business, what you do, you pull yourself in so tight down here, they have to pop up somewhere.
Monique, Carlotta wasn't always the star of the show, though, was she?
No, not always. We used to do late shows at Les Girls at 1:30 in the morning, and Carlotta was there very early, around about 7 o'clock, and she got a bit tiddlywinks on the old Chardonnay, and the finale came for the late show, and Carlotta she wasn't in a seat, so we presumed she was standing on stage waiting to go on, and we all went out and did our little bit and turned around to present, and the curtain opened, and here's Carlotta asleep in the shadow. Curtain closed, we just kept doing the finale.
Thank you very much for coming. Appreciate it.
Oh, look, I'm getting feathers all over.
Oh, look, you're all over the place. Carlotta, you're such a hit by 1972. Television producers now invite you to appear in the top-rating soap opera number 96.
There isn't a particle of you that I don't love or want or remember.
And you really don't mind me not being a girl?
Beg your pardon?
I'm not a girl. But you said you'd guessed.
I had guessed nothing of the sort. Miss Ross. Mr. Ross?